Hi class, this is your video feedback for your portfolio or in some cases a fictitious website that you built this week. Let's take a look. So I really like this display font here and I like the green. This isn't the same as the style guide that was presented, so you'll want to either change the style guide to match what you've ultimately created here, or you'll need to implement your style guide. The display font doesn't work as we start to get into our headers. I recommend something more like what you have for your home. That would be in a sans serif about this size, but it starts to become really difficult to read as you look through. All right, so that's something that I would change. Take off anything that doesn't have content, or anything, this is for everybody, anything that is a placeholder for a page, coming soon or to come, those things need to be disabled. All right, and okay, here you have weeding, and I think maybe you mean a wedding, so that's going to be a D instead of an E. So everybody double check your content. Have somebody else proof it if you like. All right. Let's see, and this I would wrap over here. Okay, we have a lot of empty space here, and I would take the bullet off. All right, that will take it places. If you want to use this color scheme, this is not a bad color palette to think about. All right. I watched your movie. I don't always get to watch everybody's films, but I try to watch what I can. I enjoyed the story. The pricing and services, let's put those on a different page along with the availability, and again make sure those headings are in a sans serif, an easy to read font. Wrap this also up here so we don't have so much space. All right. Congratulations on your upcoming graduation on the 20th. Very exciting. This is a good profile shot too. It's very clear. There's not a lot of background problems, and the lighting is good. Okay, let's wrap this, and I'm not sure why you've got the lunchtime here, but I would take the phone number off, and hopefully this is not your address, because you don't want to give anyone insight into your schedule here, and just give people your email, and then you can decide whether you want to give them your phone number. That's everybody. All right. Okay. Your resume is going to be another link up here. I would, as clean as this looks, I would go ahead and put your navigation up here. All right. Okay. But it's looking good, and it's clean, and just keep heading that way. All right. Good job. Brett, really great site. I enjoyed looking through this. You've got everything clean here. I would pull this up to where we don't have one word by itself. But this is a really great headshot. I think a little less here so that we can get maybe a little more space around the text, just a little. I know it's consistent with what you have here, and that's important. And you don't necessarily have to change it, but just think about whether you need a little more. Here it is justified left and right, and so the spacing here, the kerning, is a bit of a problem. So I would probably just left align it to avoid having that problem. Okay. You've done a great job of having all of your headers the same font, same location. This works really well. We try and give some context as to what we did in the image or in our work here. And you've done that up here in this column. You've said that you're a camera operator, so that's really good. Sometimes we put the context down here and tell them what we did on a project, but you have the titles, and that's good because, again, you have your service and what your role was in that image here, and that's what matters. So I like how you have your gutters and your margins. Your padding is nicely consistent. That's really what we're trying to do when we talk about layout. And this is really good. I think you could probably get an original photo that you took for this. Maybe you took this and it just looks like stock footage, but not that you need to change it. But what's kind of fun, and I think there's one in here later we'll see, is kind of a dramatic photo of somebody on the phone. That can be fun. And we'll look at that later in this feedback video. These are going to Vimeo right now, so you'll want these to go to your site. Okay, link those up. Good job, really clean. I love how much space you've allowed. Everything's above the scroll. Looks great. Nice job. All right. Jeremy, I love the title that you have here, or rather the slogan, Only Quality and Experience. I love that. So very clean, nice font selection here. I would consider not having this italicized, something to think about. I know you have it later in your logo, but I would just think about that. I love this image. See if there's something behind it that causes this to load slowly. It didn't take too long, but it did take a split second to load up. I like that you have an Ansel Adams quote, nice and simple. I wondered if you wanted this to be reversed, to be only white when you roll over it, so that it's more white on black otherwise. That might work nicely. And I think I would wrap this up to be on one line. I would make this wider so people can see what they've typed, if it's in fact the correct email that they mean to send. But super clean, looks great, it's all legible. Great photos. I would work on the readability here. Make sure that we can get a little higher contrast here, I think. And this is really nice. I wonder if maybe we want to pull this content up just a little bit. It's okay the way it is, but if there's something that you wanted to try, you could take a look at that. And something like this, you don't yet have something, so I would try and put something in there, actually, some sort of blog, and try not to have the date so it is evergreen. Turn the date off, and I think otherwise you'll want to disable that. This looks nice like this. I think you could still have it like this in this particular font and have it not italicized on the first page. Same thing here, but it looks really great. It looks nice. Okay, good job. All right. Here I would take the phone number off and just have your email. That's most people. And I would take this service page, rename it Home, move it over here, because this is really clean. I would bring it up to about here. I would put your logo here and erratic behaviors next to it. We'll talk about that in a second, but I think you want to get right into this. This has everything you need, and it's nice and clean. And so this is what I think should be your home page. So let's look at what we have now. I would bring this logo to here for what would be your service. Okay. And one of the things we want to do, which is why I like the other one better for this, is making sure all of our content is aligned. All right. That's something that we want to work on, and that's why I think you want this to be your home page and just have, erratic films up here. All right. When we have a thumbnail image, for example, we want to make sure that we don't cut the text off. So you could find another image and put something like this in it. But like I said, you're going to want to put that service page there. Okay. All right. And if you want to have a contact form, that might be a good thing to do. And I would put your logo right here. This, I would just put video production, because with your logo, this is more of a slogan that you would put somewhere, you know, on your contact page down here, but not next to your logo. It's a little too long to be a tagline. Okay? All right. Good job. All right, this logo is taking a little bit of time to build. Actually, I don't think it's on this page. We need to put it on that page. On every page. So with this logo, I think we want to incorporate some of the aqua, and we want to pull that W closer, making sure that they're all the same amount of space apart, ideally, and definitely center it in the box to where we have spacing, plenty of padding, and equal around that. That's cramping it. These images belong on another page. I would put this on your services offered, or at the bottom, spread it out a little bit. That is, make it a wider column. But these conflict with the overall feel of a really clean, clear message here about, you know, we're pressure washing. I would move that back to your gallery where you have your befores and afters, and I would make sure all your befores and afters are like this. All right, make sure you name your files specifically to what you're doing, and really short. Okay, this needs to have space above it. All right, and you want to wrap this up here. It's not so bad to have your phone number on something like this. It's a specific short one-time service. It might be okay, but you never know. It might be something where they're just going to get too much spam. So think about that. If you do keep the number, wrap it up here on one line, and make sure this text is the same as this text, which here is in all caps. Here it is in upper, lower, and it's white. And here it's a different font altogether and in a different location. So you want to take a look at that. I like this. I like the way it is broken up. It's very clear for anyone to understand who may not be familiar with the service. All right, good job. All right, this is a clean site. Again, decide whether you want the number there. All looks good. The logo looks good. The color looks good. The green matches a lot of what's in here. I wouldn't have the video play automatically because sometimes you don't know where people are viewing your site, and they may be in a place where they don't want people to know exactly what they're doing. And so you want to give the user control over that. But this is really clean. I like what you have here, explaining that the brand is important. You have these going to your site. Great. The images look good. Everything's above the scroll. This is a little bit different. I think we need to break it up a little bit into 2 paragraphs, probably stretch it across here, maybe put an about title here, maybe. But it all looks good. The images are great, sharp, and that's something that everyone in digital cinematography should be doing by now, is having really sharp images in focus and well composed. All right. Okay. Decide about the phone, but all looks good. And you have, I checked these out. The only thing we are, you might want to have your text a little bit different so that it isn't, the drop-down menu doesn't cover it up. All right. The photography needs to be, you know, better aligned, and a little space down here. So I think that page may need some work. All right. But otherwise, it's really looking good. And I like what you've done with it. It works here, but not all together. All right. Good job. right, Flatline Records and Productions. The thing about this one is I like it. I like your concept. I like what you're going for. Let's take off any reference to students. You can, at the bottom, if you never intend to actually be a company working together, you can put down here that it's a fictitious site or a student project. But otherwise, let's not do that, okay? A little redundancy here, so we want to work on that. This is really good in that you tell us what you're doing, your services. You have your members here, and I like the way it's laid out, and I like the images and the way this page is broken up. However, you also have your About page over here. This needs to be removed. I don't think it's going to anything. And so this might be where you have the story about your founders, or you need to make sure this links to the founders, right, to this place right here instead of this page. Blog, I think that's a really great place for you to do this. Yeah, so that's good. Your contact, I like this, it works. Make sure everything is consistent with your headers. Okay, a lot of good work here. Just a little bit of cleanup, all right? All right, good job. All right, let's bring this up to about here at least. I would make this either a solid or not so dark on this end. And probably tighten this up a little bit, bring this up too, so we don't have quite so much below the scroll line, all right? This is a little difficult to read, okay? Let's see, yeah, I'd find a font that's a little heavier for this, just a little, not too much, but a little easier to read, a little more high contrast. I like your navigation color turning to red. This gray might need to be a little darker. Again, bring your everything up a little bit. Close this space up and close up the kerning here between the space between the letters. Check your spelling, okay? And make sure we don't have placeholder text, all right? Same thing here. Fewer. This was duplicated, so let's not do that. And let's try and have your shots as much aligned as possible. Okay, we need a little bit more space here so you can tell us what it is you're working on. The branding, for example, social media marketing, that could be a little bolder to help us read that a little. This is a good shot. All right, and then your contact, again, up like this. We talked about that. Let's see. Let's bring this up to about here. All right. We need to be able to get into the content. So this image takes up a lot of space, but this is where you're trying to say something. Okay. And okay, and watch your pad, your spacing here and here. All right, good job. Okay, so for this site, I love this image. You did take the lanyard out, good job. This feels more like something that would go on your blog as far as an author. This looks more like your makeup scene, and I like this a lot, but here's something that's going on. I like your background, like what you've done. Here's something that is happening though. We have a couple of sites in one. So now we come over here. I know it's your blog, but we also say about me. You have another about me. You have your blog here. Beautiful. All looks really good, but you've got some decisions to make. Okay. These look really great. This image needs to be optimized behind it. It took a little second to come up. It needs to be a little smaller in file size. You've got a combination of great things, and I like the bamboo a lot, but you've got two sites going on. Okay, you've got a couple of about me's and so forth. So check that out, and make sure you bring them all together into one. All right, good job. Really nice. I like the shots that you have here. I think we can get rid of this banner up here. I think your shots are fine. Here's your contact page, and you've got your contact info there. I don't think you need much else there. Let's see, on your welcome. And these are really nice. Make sure they're loading quick enough. I think a photo of you would be good here. This doesn't bother me too much, but you might think about aligning it left. Doesn't bother me. But this is your about page, and you have thank you for visiting our site. So this needs to be something about you, and this needs to be someplace else. Okay. And you have your photography here. So this is a good place for it, but not under the about. I'd move your contact to the right, ideally, all right? And these are going to your social media, so that's good. Nice work. All right, good job. Not much left to do on that. Okay, I like how everything is aligned well. That works very nicely. I like that, you're lucky you have two J's in your name, but what I would do is I would take this Films and I would put it over here next to Johnson, and I would use the same font that you already have for Jacob Johnson Films. This is a little tight here. I think you're going to find it much stronger. You could even take out one of the J's, and I think that would be really good for you. I think you'd like that. If I go to work, okay, that is work. Okay. Little crowded here. Okay, that header is a little crowded. My previous work, maybe bring that down here. Okay, very nice. This is a great shot of somebody on the phone for a filmmaker or photographer. That's great. All right. So good job. You've got pretty much everything you need, just a little bit of overlapping here. All right, nice work. Joseph, this is a real clean site. I'd take my phone number off and just leave your email. It's nice you say you're a video editor. You let us know exactly what you do. That's nice, short and sweet. You tell us what you do here. I wouldn't say that you lack talent in creating amazing stories. I would just say I have a discerning eye for editing the story, or only talk about what you are. So just say that you have a discerning eye for telling stories, for your client, or based on what your client provides. That kind of idea. Try to stay away from the nots or the negatives, okay? And cinematography has that A in there. Try not to have this by itself. This you probably want to wrap, either add another line or another couple of words here, or bring this up here. All right? And I would bring this up here too, instead of wrapping it. And then you'll just add content as you go. All right, very simple, to the point. All right, and you've told what your service is. Make sure that you tell us exactly what you did here, a little bit of context. You say you're editor, so make sure we say, you edited this piece that someone else shot, or, give the name of the cinematographer, and it's a good idea to link to their site, and so you link back and forth. Measured words. This is a WordPress. The art of storytelling. I like that. the videos seem to come up pretty good, but I've had this open, so double check that. You know, I didn't know what all of these drop down titles meant. They were curious enough for me to want to check them out, but I didn't know if some of them overlapped. This is a beautiful shot, and I do like the text is so easy to read. It's very coffee table book-like. And I'm not a fan of these. I don't think they really are part of your brand. I would just have a simple black and white maybe, and tighten all this up and have your social media with that. Yeah, I think it takes away from what you offer. And so that's kind of true without. And yeah, that's the main thing. I did like where you had images that were the same width, and now we jump to videos that are not. So maybe you just have a video page that does that. Think about that. Okay, the content we're trying to get into really quickly, but that's how you have it. This is taking too long to build. So you want to look at the file size of that. This might need a little header that looks a lot like this, and then I would take those and change them to be simpler. This, I don't think you have a blog here yet, so I would disable that until you do, all right? But it's a great idea. I would move these links to the bottom. I would align them, move them to the bottom, and bring all of your information here up. This image, actually, you could reduce it, put it here on the left, and then put the contact over here on the right if you felt like doing that. All right? Okay, good work. You guys did a great job, and I'm really pleased to see what you're doing, and your work looks really great too. So hopefully you'll be able to have a website that you can display and showcase all the student work you've done and all the future work that you will do, that really helps people see what you're capable of. All right? Good work.